This is Meteorologist Matthew East, and thanks for clicking onto the Friday edition of the Tropical Weather Video. This is a look at the sea level pressure chart of our coastal low as it was making landfall there on the upper South Carolina coast, not too far from Myrtle Beach. And it was never classified as an official tropical or subtropical system, but again, for folks along the coast, this looked and felt very much like a strong tropical storm as it came ashore. That's the radar imagery from the 5 o'clock hour this morning as I'm cutting this video. And the center of circulation of that low pressure at this point in time, right here. And we're going to be in the moist side of the flow pattern over much of the Piedmont as we go through the day today. So the forecast today will feature periods of rain. We'll talk much more about that over in the Carolina weather video. Let's talk about Kyle. There's the infrared satellite imagery on Kyle this morning. The center of Kyle is right about here, and that is obviously a little displaced from most of the deep convection, but it looks like the system will become more vertically stacked over the next day or two, and that will favor some strengthening. In terms of model guidance, there is the spaghetti plot, and most guidance here takes this into either the upper New England coast, somewhere between there and over toward portions of the Canadian Maritimes. Let me show you some of the specific modeling here. This is the Canadian model showing this system moving very near Cape Cod and up toward the Maine coast. And this will be a common theme on a lot of the modeling. So again, that's the Canadian model. Here's the GFS, also up just east of Cape Cod, and it makes a Maine landfall. No gaps. It also making a landfall there on the coast of Maine. There is the UK Met, much the same, although a little bit off to the east. That would be Canadian landfall there. And here is the European. A little tough to tell exactly, but that would be very close to the Maine and Canadian border, somewhere in that area with a landfall spot. All right, here's the GFDL, bringing Kyle as a minor hurricane just east of Cape Cod, and then it brings Kyle onto the Maine coastline. And there is the Hurricane Wharf. It too passes just east of Cape Cod as a minor hurricane and then moves ashore onto the coast of Maine. All right, with all that said, there's the official National Hurricane Center forecasts. They've adjusted this westward just a little bit, and they might have to do that further in time. So I think the general idea here is a landfall either on the upper New England coast, possibly the Canadian Maritimes. I think this zone from Cape Cod up through Maine, though, that's probably your most likely area for a landfall. But certainly the Canadian Maritimes will be on the eastern side of that center of circulation, so very blustery conditions there. And in terms of the tropical storm force wind probabilities, anywhere from the New England states and certainly there up through the Canadian Maritimes. We're going to see some winds from this as the system moves on through. All right, reminders for you. My blog address, mattheweast.blogspot.com. My email address, matthew.east@news14.com. And remember, News 14 Carolina on Time Warner Cable Channel 14 in the Wilmington, Morehead City, Raleigh, Greensboro, and Charlotte television markets, and on the web at www.news14.com. That's it for this edition of the Tropical Weather Video. The next version of the video will be posted bright and early on Monday morning. Everyone have a great weekend, and God bless.